But what we want to do is find that the bottom and make a little line where we'll not lose it there. And I like to make a couple of lines. Just drop it in this little cradle in this jig. And you want to start off, because this thing is curved. So you'll start off. We got our little caddy spoon band sawed in two. We'll put it in our 4-jaw chuck here that's with the wooden jaws. There's a little groove in here to make it sure it's centered upright. Okay, what we want to do is before I do that, let's get the depth. Here's the other piece of it here. So I just want to make sure I know how deep I'm going there. And if I bring the tape right up to it, it'll be the right depth. So I want to start off and get a little center cone where that drill will start nice and straight. Okay. Now we'll take a little 3/8 spindle gouge, just got kind of a blunt, steep angle on it, and hollow it out. A little bit more speed there, around 1,000 RPM, something like that. It's just like hollowing out a little bowl. Nice little sweeping action there. Yeah. It's that entry cut's a little tough. I'm having a little trouble seeing it too. Anyway, it's going to be fine. That's why we do all the sanding. Get that sanding drum set up. Let's look at that. I can tell it's a little thick in the bottom. Need to go a little deeper.
Did you have to grind the heel off of that tool?
Yeah, the heel's been removed where it doesn't drag. It could probably be a little bit more. It's still a little thick. Once you make a few of them, you can feel if there's like a flat spot. You just need to keep on until it's round in the bottom.
Do you ever use a round nose scraper for in there?
No, it just tears the grain so much. You want a nice, even though, I'm gonna grind this heel off just a little bit more and then take a final test. I'm getting some ridges in there, and I think that heel is probably dragging. Yeah, that's a lot better. That heel, when you're coming around, if it's it'll drag and bruise the wood, make it rough. So we can start off sanding on that at it's a 180. Turn that speed down just a little bit. I'm not used to this lathe. It's one of our club's lathes. About 800 RPMs or so. Yeah, that's why all these, that's why you want it smooth out here, even though it's smooth, it doesn't feel good to hit the end of those. A little bit more. I think I'll get some Oh, that was the 220. Yeah, this ought to be better. I was using the 220 and it needs to be 150 or 180, something like that. Yeah, we'll do better on the next one. I think that heel was dragging and it did bruise that wood. Then it's hard to sand out. Then we'll go to a little 400. Okay. Doesn't look bad. Now we can put on our sanding drum. Let me go ahead and put that on. Is that alright? Should I turn another one?
No, it's fine.
Yeah. Let me get this tail stock. Our sanding drum. I'll try here. Like a little stab center. We'll get this banjo out of the way. And when I put this on there, I want to make sure that I'm not going into a different groove or little indention. Because this is plastic on the end of that, and once it makes a point in the center, you don't want to lose it. And down here on this end, you want to make sure it's in the right groove too, where it locks in place. And once you see it's lined up good, snug it up good, and I do lock this in place. We'll run this probably at about 800 RPMs. And I don't know if you can see, it's not a very pleasing shape. It's just straight across, and you know, that's where this 80 grit or 60 grit or 36 grit paper comes in. There's a little point where the live center protrusion went in there, so we need to remove that. It's getting a lot better shape there. Looking better. Turn it around. You can see when I poured it in, it saves quite a bit of sanding. Need to make sure we get all that smooth out. We got quite a bit to remove right here. We want a nice little S curve. Once you get it shaped with a pleasing curve to it, then you can go back and sand it. I believe this is 150 grit. Okay, then we'll go to some 320. Now these edges are very sharp. That's where this flap disc comes in. Anyway, that's looks pretty good. Now put a finish on it. I just use the beeswax. Put it right there, baby. And paper towel. This is quick and simple. The beeswax and this has got citrus oil in it, and it really works pretty good on something like this. Quick and simple. That cherry really looks good with the oil on it. Like I say, when you start making these and people see them, they really, they want one, believe me. If you can see it right there. But anyway, you have to have all this set up to make these. And like I say, this little drum sander is good for a lot of wood turning projects. And the more you make of these, the better. I haven't made any in a while. I just did this one today. But anyway, that's my little demo. Hope y'all enjoy making them.
Just hold it up, turn it sideways, there you go. And talk about the chuck a little. Tell me about it.
This chuck I bought, I think in 1984, is the first 4-jaw chuck that was put on a wood lathe. It's actually an ex-minister. They had someone in somewhere in Europe make them. It was a metalworking chuck, and they converted it over to a wood, where they had the whole back plate comes off to fit a wood lathe. But this is the chuck that Ray Key used to carry with him to do his demos. And I told Ray that the only problem with this chuck, if you loosen it up, these jaws will just come out. There's no safety on it. My wife has 4 stitches in her arm to prove that. But after that happened, I did put drill and tap where these number 4 jaw will not come out. So, you know, there's probably not a bunch of these left, but anyway, it's a very good chuck. It works good. You just got to understand that number 4 jaw will come out if it's loosened up very, very much. So,
And the wood?
this wood is just some, I believe it's mahogany. I'm not 100% sure, but we've made a lot of the Beads of Courage boxes, and I use this to hold the Beads of Courage box when we're turning those. So you can use these, you can recut them, do whatever you want to. I've made big ladles and had different jaws for it, but you can make this thicker, you know, a 3-inch opening in it or whatever.
You just screw the wood onto the jaw, right?
Right. They do make, like I say, let me get this little jig and I'll show you. When you're trying to drill 2 holes for your wood to go into the 4-jaw chuck, you have to have two screw holes. So the first one I drill, if it's a Talon chuck, I put this spacer in there. I drill the first hole. Well, I go ahead and drill all 4 of the pieces of wood, and then I remove the spacer, put it back in there, and that's the exact screw center to center measurement to drill the next hole. And if you want to use a strong hole chuck, you can see it's a little bit different thicknesses there for the screw centers. And you just clamp this on your drill press, and it's very accurate. The first time I tried to make one, you try to eyeball it or center punch it or whatever. It gets off, and then it's very difficult to line all those screws up. So my brother Scott, after we wrestled around and finally did one, he made this jig for me. And so I've used it several times, and not just on jaws, but if you're drilling multiple holes, you can make a different spacer And if you drill through it, it's gonna get a bunch of hole marks in it. So you can change this out without having to make a whole new jig. So it's pretty neat. If anybody wants to make jaws for their flat jaws, bring it over here and I can drill their holes for them. But I put the instructions here. You cut 4 pieces of wood, just cut 4 squares and put the square in there, drill the holes. It's pretty quick and simple once you have this jig set up. So anyway, it's a lot of fun coming up with these ideas to make the things work better. Appreciate everybody watching. Hope you enjoy it.